Hi, this is Heather with Autism Chrysalis. I've struggled with a lot of anxiety throughout my life. Mostly social, but in other areas too. Around change, new things, new places, doing things differently. They built up because my brain works a little bit differently than how most people's do, and therefore I communicate differently, and my body functions a little differently, and I often got less than positive reactions to my differences. Growing up, I often felt like I didn't fit, like I was doing things wrong, and so I was constantly on edge around other people. I would give someone a compliment and they would take it as rude. I would try and help out and they would be offended. I would just make a joke and everyone would stare at me in open-mouthed shock. Over time, because a lot of my interactions with people were like this, I started second-guessing myself and triple-guessing and wondering, what am I supposed to do in this situation? How can I make it go right? But I had no clue. I thought I was doing what everyone else was doing, but it would fall flat, or people would edge away, or complain at me, or worse. Every social interaction became a minefield, trying not to say or do the wrong thing and set off a bomb. But I had no idea what would be the wrong thing this time. I spent a lot of time replaying conversations in my head to try and figure out what went wrong, what should I have said, how to fix it, and what to say next time. What if people laugh at me? What if they react like I'm weird? Or give me that look like, why the hell did you just say that? I spent less and less time with people. I put myself out there less and stuck to my safe people, but those got fewer and fewer in numbers, and my world got smaller and smaller. So of course I developed anxiety. But it's not because there was anything wrong with me. It was a completely reasonable reaction to avoid things that hurt you. So anxiety isn't something that's gone wrong with your brain. It starts as a healthy fear response, but grows into responding to all of the things instead of knowing clearly what to avoid and what you can handle. Because it's gotten so many mixed messages about what might be dangerous, it defaults to avoiding anything that could possibly be dangerous. Over the last several years, I've found several strategies that helped me deal with my anxiety, and I've watched it gradually fade away. First of all, I recognized that it wasn't because there was anything wrong with me, as in, I rarely did anything that was socially wrong, as in harmful. It was just that I did or said things that other people weren't expecting. And sometimes that can be misinterpreted as bad, but there was never actually anything wrong with what I was doing. And there was nothing wrong with who I am. Then I dealt with the physical sensations that arise when I have an anxiety reaction. And ultimately, I learned how to tell the difference between a painful circumstance that I need to deal with and an anxious thought that's making that painful circumstance even worse, and how to deconstruct those painful thoughts without gaslighting myself. So these are the things that I'm going to be covering in my anti-anxiety course. I've picked out the techniques that have helped me the most in dealing with my own anxiety, and that are the most reliably helpful for my clients. In each meeting, we'll start with one physical technique to help our nervous system settle enough that we can take in new info, and then we'll go over some theory, how anxiety works, how to separate painful thoughts that you can deconstruct from real circumstances that you have to deal with, and then we'll put that theory into practice with a thought-based technique. If this is something you're interested in exploring more, this might be a good fit for you. Here's where you can find more info on my course, Anti-Anxiety Practices for Autistics. If you find even one or two of these techniques help you, and you use them even intermittently, it can make a big difference over time in your ability to do the little and big things that you need to do and want to do every day, to be around people and make the changes you want to in your life, to build the life that you really want. If you want to see how these techniques work in real life, here's a playlist that I put together of a few examples of times when I put these anti-anxiety practices into practice in my real life and what happened. Okay, I wish you a near a wonderful day.